Square and
Buh. Okay, so we're going to be finishing up Drakengard 1 today. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is max out the last of my weapons.
Lord Caim, the Empire is strengthening its siege. We must strike at them now.
Okay, so yeah, we can start with this. Now this weapon right here has been one of my favorite weapons from the whole game. And it's one of the last ones you get. It actually has an extended hitbox, that purple line that you see when I attack. So it's actually got more of the range of a long sword than a short sword. Okay, here goes Death next. I still think this weapon has one of the best sounding spell names in the game, Plasmological Phantorium. Just sounds cool. So this basically lets you set off bombs. And the more MP you have, the more bombs you set. Okay, now Devil Scale. Another pretty cool weapon, not gonna lie. Almost. Just gonna want to finish off the last of these weapons, and then it'll be time for I Hear a Sound. Alright, so this one just gives a straight-up strength buff. Hey, look, it's a vice weapon. It's a pretty cool spell. I particularly like the description for this weapon spell, where it says portals to hell are opened, and enemies that enter it are taken straight to hell, or something like that. Unfortunately, this weapon here, like most clubs, it sucks. It's just a fact of life in this game. Clubs are not very useful, except for a select number of them. The spell is abysmal, too. So the spell is called Ishtar's Volcano, But the only thing that it resembles to a volcano is that it erupts. You would think it'd be like fire-based or something on the description alone. Now this club is actually pretty decent, I gotta say. Not the best weapon in the world or anything, but pretty solid. It's another one of those weapons that the spells, you have to use more MP to get to have access to the higher tier versions of the spell though, which kind of hinder its usefulness. It's pretty similar to Undine and Salamander with Aryok. I mean, if I wanted that spell, all I would have to do is just, you know, summon Aryok for the same effect. But it's still a good weapon overall. I like the design of this one. It's very nice. So this spell lowers my speed by 66%, but increases my attack and defense by 66%. You know, it's basically Curse from Pokemon. Well, when not used by a ghost type, that is. That's this set of weapons complete. God, this weapon's so good. Having that, like, extended hitbox helps a lot.
Have been deployed.
I like how the blade just has been getting steadily bigger and bigger for this weapon. Oh. That's cool. Look at all them skulls now. A fearsome hammer that has the power to steal memories. With each blow of the weapon, the victim loses more of himself, till he forgets his own identity. One day, a soldier who carried the burden of a sorrowful past acquired the hammer. He began to strike himself in the head so that one by one, his memories began to disappear. But as each unhappy memory was extinguished, an earlier one welled up in its place. Death of his comrades, the unhappy decision to become a soldier, the murder of his parents. When at last all the sad thoughts were gone, and only the memories of a child full of hope and promise remained, it was too late. The soldier's skull was broken, and he fell over dead. This mace was made by an apprentice wizard with a single swing of a blacksmith's hammer. However, this apprentice could conjure little more than small flames. As big as an ogre and with an appetite to match, the apprentice did not look much like a sorcerer, and he found himself bullied by his master and fellow apprentices. One day, he and another apprentice began a violent argument that did not end until the giant wizard lost his senses, swung his mace, and struck his colleague dead. As it tasted blood, the mace absorbed the fallen apprentice's magical powers. The pupil realized that he could make the weapon even stronger, so he slew his master with a blow to the head. Yikes. A mace owned by a warrior monk who was charged with fighting pirates. When he sailed the seas with his son at his side, no pirate could feel safe. One day they encountered a gang of pirates led by a wizard. The wizard summoned a sea dragon to fight by his side, and during the fierce battle that ensued, the monk's son was slain. Rendered mad by the loss, the monk slaughtered the pirates and the dragon. But no matter how much he raged, he could not bring his beloved son, and the monk soon died of grief. Eventually, the sad tears of the monk reached the merciful god of the sea. In sympathy, the god took the monk's mace and made it powerful with magic and the talons of his own claws. A mace that belonged to a priest who gave his soul to demons. When his cult was still young, the demons spoke to him, commanding that he gather fresh souls. The priest offered sacrifice after sacrifice to the demons, crushing each victim's head in turn. Blow by blow, the mace brought his ambitions closer to his grasp. As the cult grew, so did the mound of crushed skulls. But then the skulls shifted and transformed, turning into the face of a man the priest knew all too well. The face was the priest's own. He had paid the ultimate price and was turned into a demon. He rose and bid farewell to his earthly body. Wow. Queen Brunhilde, daughter of Visigoth King Athanagild, and was wife to Siegbert I of Austrasia, and ruled the kingdom as regent in her son's name after the death of the king. Neighboring Neustria was ruled by Silverific I and Queen Fredengund. Wow, these are some names. Seeking to expand their kingdom at the expense of their neighbor, they had Siegbert assassinated. This sparked a long and bloody feud between the two kingdoms. The rift between the countries deepened as the Brunhildes and the Fredegun's relatives were murdered one by one. Eventually, Brunhilde was betrayed while attending peace negotiations and was sentenced to death by Clothar II. This is the poleaxe that was used to chop off her head. In a time when gods and mankind still lived together on the earth, a great war raged between the gods and the demons. The nights burned red, and scores of gods fell victim to the hellfire. The conflagration burned for 10 days, then a flood covered the earth for 100 days, and then for 1,000 days great tempests swept the land. All plants and animals were turned to dust. But at last the gods struck down Belial, master of the giants and mightiest of the demons. They shut him up in his hell, sealing the entrance with layer upon layer of thick ice. It is said that the blade of this poleaxe is made from a scale of the demon Belial's hide, cut from him when the gods sealed him into his hell. They say that the Reaper waits by the gate to Hades. With this scythe, he cuts the passage to the eternal darkness, a place from whence no soul has ever returned. A man was sentenced to enter dark Hades. He waited beside the Reaper as the grim god sliced open a passage to the darkness. At that moment, the man swung his sword at the Reaper. The blade struck home and the Reaper was felled. "Foolish human," he laughed, "your sword cannot help you now." As he spoke, the scythe rose up and cut off the man's legs with one blow. The true guardian was not the Reaper, it was the scythe. And by the gate it still waits for each sinner in his turn. Okay, that's a pretty neat scythe. In ancient times, this black sword once belonged to a mighty king who built a glorious empire. Under his wise and just rule, the empire thrived and prospered and knew no equal. But a ripened fruit can only rot. Spoilt by their wealth and prosperity, the servants of the king began to swell with pride, and fell into corruption and depravity. Powerless to cease the rot, the king summoned a wicked god into the blade of his sword. He then began to murder his treacherous vassals one after another. The god inside the blade reveled in the bloodbath. When only the king himself remained, the sword slew him as well, and the silver blade was dyed black by the royal blood. Okay, so I've got to finish off the other set of weapons that I have.
Lord Caim, the Empire is strengthening its siege. We must strike at them now.
Okay, so after this last set of weapons, I'll have all the weapons in the game maxed out. We'll have gotten all that sweet, sweet weapon lore. this is another weapon that the spell only increases your attack power. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just that's all it does. Let's get this piece of shit weapon out of the way first. This was one of the worst weapons I had to level in the entire game. Because at level 3, it wanted 700 kills. At level 2 it wanted like 400. So it probably got to about 1500 kills for one of the worst weapons in the game. Now, at least with the other staffs, they gain MP really quick. And for the most part, they're pretty okay. 2 of them are really good. One of them's kind of eh, because it's one of those ones that it only does more... The spells are tied to your MP cost. But then this one is just bleh, because all it does is heal Caim. It'd be a different story if, like, the damage would, like, make up for the fact that it doesn't really do anything besides heal. But, no. Leveling this weapon was mainly just pain. But I suppose that's the point of Drakengard. If you're not suffering, then you're missing the point. The design for this weapon confuses me. Because it was like all together at one point, but then as it was leveling up, the front piece started like breaking apart from the base of the weapon. I don't know, it's kind of weird. So this may look similar to another spell I had, but the difference is this one actually travels. It doesn't just appear at like set locations. And the more MP I use, the more tornadoes spawn from that spot and move forward. So it's pretty okay. I'm not crazy about the weapons that you have to use more MP to get the most out of them. That was a really good spell from Ozymandias' Might. This one's kinda... not very good. It doesn't last very long and it doesn't do that much damage, but at least the MP cost for it is only 1 bar. This weapon's pretty cool though. Ah.
Their main force is here.
Okay, let's finish up and we'll get the last of that weapon lore.
Imperial guards have been deployed.
Okay, and now that's all 64 weapons in the game maxed out at level 4. Ooh. Very green. The heck happened to Takamasa there? Looks weird. Oh, the weapon became complete again. That's weird. Alright, so just want to start the stage again so I can look at my weapons, then I'll exit out. And then, oh boy, it's time for ending E. This sword belonged to a demented painter who murdered innocents every night and collected their blood. With this grisly harvest, he painted masterpieces the likes of which the world had never seen. The painter had a dream. He dreamt that one day he would create paintings so powerful that all who viewed them would be at peace. Each day he painted feverishly, chasing his dream. But none cared for his work, and he began to feel cold. He began to feel the cold, uncaring stares of others. Eventually the soul of the sensitive artist was broken. Red, crimson, scarlet. In a frenzy, the artist embarked on a rampage of murder and creation. It did not end until he turned the sword on himself and forged his last masterpiece. When I first met him, I found it hard to imagine that the inaskable, smelly monk that stood before me was once the vassal of such a mighty lord. Yet the gleaming sword that he held at his side suggested his tale might be true. What under heaven had happened to bring such a knight so low? He told me that he had grown tired of the feuds of the noble families, but it is a hard thing for any warrior to abandon the discipline of the way of the sword. At that time, things might have gone better, he said, looking thoughtfully into the sky. I suppose that now, in some place, he is coming near to the end of his path. That wasn't a sad story at all, I think. Balberith is the demon who seals all pacts between devils and humans. His evil contracts send ill-fortuned men and women one after the other into hell. One time, Balberith fell in love with a human woman. This woman's father was very sick, and she appealed to the demons to save her father. But Balberith knew that with a contract, she would be thrown into hell and lost to him forever. He thought, and at last decided that he himself would go to hell in her place. But when he hurried to the girl's home, he found the father dead. The girl's lifeless body lay beside him, as if in sleep. Ignorant of death, the demon tried to shake her awake over and over again. This monk's spade was owned by the ruler of the greatest empire of the age. Said to control lightning and slice through blackness, it was dedicated as a guardian weapon in the shrine of the gods. A warrior famed for his courage plundered the weapon and set out to conquer the world. Summoning lightning and thunder to his aid, he brought nation after nation into his empire. He sat at the center of a vast empire, but the vassal states chafed under his rule and rose up against him. In the end, betrayed even by his own army, the warrior's empire collapsed. He took refuge in a small castle. As the besieging army put the castle to the torch, he held the monk's spade at his side and, together with his favorite concubine, waited for death. This was the staff of a lean, thin wizard. His mean indifference and cold heart made him hated by the townspeople and his apprentices. Growing fearful for his own life, the wizard used the black arts to form a staff with fearsome power. power that drew its energy from the wizard's own life force. As the staff gathered more and more energy to itself, the wizard grew thinner and weaker. But the wizard was intoxicated by the staff's power and could not let go, no matter the cost. Obsessed with protecting himself from his resentful apprentices, the wizard clutched the staff tight till he died. In the end, all that remained of him were brittle bones and dried, translucent skin. A young couple blessed by fortune were to be wed, but on the night before the wedding, a small shining spirit appeared before the young bride. The ghost whispered in her ear, speaking straight to the weakness in her heart. Do you wish to make him all yours? Do you wish to ensure his heart is yours for all eternity? When the girl recovered her senses, she found this gore-splattered axe in her hand, and before her, the bloody head of her beloved. Now he is yours forever. Even now, the ghost of the young bride can be seen wandering the village, garbed in a blood-spattered dress, and clutching the sightless head of the man she was to marry. Wow. Pretty metal. There was once a surgeon who saved many patients from sickness and death. Word of his skills spread, and so great did his renown grow that he was appointed physician to the king. Several years passed. One day the king's daughter fell gravely ill. Despite all the doctor's skill and efforts, the illness proved fatal and the princess slipped into death. A hateful grudge towards the doctor took root in the grieving king's heart. Deaf to the doctor's entreaties, the king sentenced the physician's family to death. Mad with grief, the doctor threw deadly poison into the royal well, and the entire royal household died agonizing deaths. The blade of this axe was sharpened using water drawn from that well. Okay. So that is every weapon in the game done. So yeah, most of these hammers aren't very good. Treasure Builder's alright. Most maces or clubs are just bad. That one's okay, that one's okay. The really good ones are Spiked Wisdom and Sorrow's Companion. I've got nothing bad to say about the pole axes. Most of them are range from solid to really good. I really liked the Executioner song. That one was cool. Philosopher's Staff and Wisdom are both really good. This one's meh. This one's terrible. Again, nothing bad to say about spears, really. Most of them are pretty okay. Range from solid to really good. Okay, we are done leveling weapons officially. Woohoo! Okay, time to move on to the final ending of the game, Ending E. Now I can remember poor Gandalf being stuck on this mission for what felt, I think it had to have been at least 2 hours. And he eventually just had to do it off screen himself. Okay, so this ending branches off from close to the end of Chapter 12. I think this is where Caim would be taking Ciri off to seal off the Grotesque Queen. But this is where Ending E branches off from that. Oh, and you also, like I said, you also have to get all 64 weapons in order to unlock this ending. Bidding the world farewell, Caim and the dragon slip into the light and disappear. Perhaps Seri will tell their tale. The queen beast continues to grow, consuming the world. With Seri's cries ringing in their ears, Caim and the dragon dive down from the sky into the heart of the beast. They are engulfed in a blaze of pure white light, and together man, dragon, and monster fall tumbling into a chasm that splits time and space. What world have they come to?
It's the end! The end!
And yet you do not pray.
To whom? What god can help us now?
No gods have ever heard your prayers. To catch the lion's cub, you must enter the lion's den.
No, Caim! Don't go! Please don't leave me alone!
We will meet again, if we live.
But at least... Don't forget me! Ever!
Time lives hand in hand with good and evil. We too must adapt to this world of chaos.
So yeah, so say hello to the real world version of Japan.
Is this the land of the gods?
No, this is Tokyo. Here we go.
What is this? This thing? What can we do?
Now this 2.5 minutes can feel like the longest 2.5 minutes of your life. You like rhythm games, right? Now you might think, oh, this doesn't seem that bad. Why do people make such a big deal about this? Well, once we get to that 35-second mark, you'll see why. can't believe I lasted as long as I did there.
What is this? This thing? What can we do?
Now, you could try to do this like, you know, if you could probably do it if you're a robot, but there is a trick to it. Now, thankfully, the pattern never changes. So if you memorize it, you can pretty much learn the entire pattern. But there is another way. I think I'm dead. Yep. I screwed up one of the button pushes there.
What is this? This thing? What can we do?
What I'd like you to keep in mind for this was originally a joke ending. And this is the ending that leads to Nier.
What is this? This thing? What can we do?
Ah.
What is this? This thing? What can we do? What is this? This thing? What can we do?
And if you make a single mistake at that last part,
This thing?
it's just
What
you're
can we
done.
do?
You see, I keep trying to anticipate when the wave happens. I'm trying to, like, give myself some breathing space.
What is this?
But then I
this
keep getting... I hit
thing.
the wrong button on
What can we
accident. It
do?
just screws me over in the end. Damn it.
What is this? This thing? What can we do?
I'm dead. Ah, I almost had it too. I'm getting there. We're gonna do this.
What is this? This thing? What can we do?
Really, with that big pattern at the end, just knowing it isn't enough. Because you have to have the reaction time for it as well. I don't know how anyone's supposed to do that without the pause trick. Unless you're some kind of living supercomputer. Oh, I think I pressed one too many times there. Oh, fuck.
What is this? This thing? What can we do?
I screwed up there. Yep. All because I hit the button one extra time.
This thing. What can we do?
Ha! Fuck you, Grotesque Queen! Go fuck yourself. I did you proud, Gandalf. I beat it in less than 2 hours. The battle that crossed space and time is won, the awesome enemy defeated at last. But the blood of the heroes who saved the world paints the tower red. Yeah, here comes our reward. We did it, Patrick! We saved the town! They didn't actually save the town. And shot out of the air. Goodbye, Angelus and Caim. And this is what kicks off Nier. Because magic entered a magicless world.
This is Bravo 1. Unidentified target has been neutralized.
Drakengard, the end of the Dragon Sphere. You don't even get ending music. It's just credits and that's it. Big middle finger to the player there. It doesn't happen all at once, Razor. It takes a period of time for the disease because of the magic entering the real world to really kick in. But yes, it does eventually cause humanity to die out. Imagine a goddamn joke ending is what leads into another one of Yoko Taro's games. So yeah, this ending leads into Nier, and ending A is what leads into Drakengard 2. Oh, I thought it was because of Angelus's blood being spilt in the real world. But that makes more sense because of the Grotesquerie dissolving into the air. Just you know, with the whole, you know, bringing magic into a magicless world thing. Oh, Angelus got blamed for it. Okay. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, see, I haven't played past Drakengard 2, so I don't really know, like, all the ins and outs. Okay, so Angelus's blood is what gave them a fighting chance. Aww. Even in death, Angelus is still helping. That's good to know. I mean, really, if you want to blame anyone, put it all on Mana and the Watchers. This is all their fault. Because from what I've been able to gather, like, the Watchers are basically emissaries of the gods, and the gods have been... Oh, yeah, poor Angelus. There she is. The gods basically fucking hate humanity, and they've been trying to kill them off for a long time. Thank you for playing! Such a happy game! Yeah, even going into like an alternate reality where there's no magic, these gods still hate humanity and are still trying to kill them off. I hear a sound. Good work. Alright, so a little bit left to do. We're going to Tokyo! Shoot down the jets of the 303rd Flight Squadron, 6th Air Group of the Japan Air Self-Defense Force. Well, okay, why not? Now we ace combat. Get back here. A dragon versus a bunch of jets. I mean, that makes sense if they're called angels. That still makes them, like, emissaries of the gods. Missile? Fox 2? God damn. These guys are tough. Oh, down I go.
Square Enix.
Look, I beat it. Check out my sick dragon. Yeah, let's see how you like playing at your own game, huh? You guys like my dragon? Look, I beat it! Gandalf? How will the Empire stand a chance against this mighty dragon? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I figured I could just suffer for hours trying to beat those jets in vain, or I could just load up my old save file where I managed to do it years ago. Alright, let me see if I can bring it to the ground missions at all. No, it's limited to air missions only. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, well, that's the end of Drakengard 1. We got all the endings. You got to see the final dragon. Okay, so I'm done. Goodbye.